Hey, what's up guys? It's James. Back with another gear review. I know it's been a while since I've done one of these, but I figured I'd do a guitar, and this time around I'm going to do my brand new Legator GHB6 standard 6-string headless guitar that I just received about 2 weeks ago that I finally got dialed in. I'll go on a record to say right now that this is my first headless guitar, and I don't have any experience with any of the other brands like Kiesel or Strandberg or Mayonnaise or Ormsby, or I'm trying to think of any of the other manufacturers out there that have put out a headless model so far. Skirvison. I haven't been able to try any of their offerings, so this review will not be able to speak as to whether or not this is comparable to any of those other brands out there because I haven't played them yet. Anyway, let's just go ahead and get into the specs here real quick. I got the Aqua Burst Burl model because blue guitars are life and they are my favorite. And I'll just go ahead and read off the specs to you as I go ahead and let you get a look at this thing. It is a mahogany body with a burled finish on top. It has a maple and walnut 5-piece bolt-on neck, which is 24 fret. It is a double humbucker guitar. It has a master tone, a master volume, and a 3-way selector switch for the pickups. And it has this funky new design by Legator, which is their tuning and bridge mechanism all rolled into one, in combination with this double locking mechanism up here at the top. And I'll go ahead and tell you exactly how to change out the strings and all that stuff here in a second after I get through it. First off, I'll just say that the workmanship of this guitar is magnificent. The finish is mesmerizing when you get to look at it. They did a really great job as far as quality control is concerned. All of the fret ends are nice and smooth. There are no tooling marks. There were no scratches or dents or scuffs or blemishes of any sort on the body. Everything came wonderfully suited. And I will go as far as to say that I did have this professionally set up because I tune my guitars to standard tuning, and I use 9 through 42 gauge strings, which are typically pretty light, especially for players that are into extended range or lower tuning or play the more progressive or extreme tech metal or that sort of genres of music, which I do dabble in, but I don't play exclusively. Which is another reason why I also switched out the pickups on this. I installed Seymour Duncan SH4JB in the bridge and an SH6N distortion in the neck because I wanted a little bit more versatility as opposed to high output, which are what these were, which were the proprietary Legator branded humbuckers that came installed factory equipped within this guitar. I found them to be a little bit too hot and a little bit too single-minded in purpose, which was to just kind of melt your face off, which they did a great job of. These are great sounding pickups. They're just not as versatile as what I typically go for, which is, you know, I run the gamut between kind of jazzy, you know, kind of hard rocky, poppy, funky, metally. It all just depends. But anyway, that's neither here nor there. But to get into a little bit more of the specifications, it has 24 frets. They are medium jumbo. It has a maple fretboard, which is also something I'm not too accustomed to. I typically go for the rosewood or the ebony fingerboards. It took me a second to get used to there not being a headstock there, but once you get over your typical of, hey, there should be something there, sort of, you know, instilled psyche or ideology that most guitar players have, or at least I do, I found it to be wonderful. And the compact size and the stature of it means that you can mess around with it in more places than you probably would be with your typical traditional length or, you know, sized guitars. I also see that the benefit would be that you could fit this into an overhead compartment within an airplane, which means you wouldn't have to put your guitar with the regular stuff that goes in the bottom of the plane where it gets a little sketchy and you start rolling the dice. So that's another benefit I see from this. I'll go ahead and roll this down. I also found that with there being no headstock there, I didn't know whether or not there would be any sort of loss of resonance when the guitar was not plugged in or amplified, but I found that it's very bright, it's very, very resonant, and it rings like a church bell even with it not being plugged in. So I will go ahead and plug it in here real quick and run through a couple of sounds here. Granted, these are tones that I have dialed in for myself, so don't expect it to be, you know, Meshuggah perfect tone or somebody else's John Mayer's perfect. It's not mine. This is just what I've got set up for myself. But it'll give you an idea of what the pickups are capable of or what the guitar sounds like. And first, let's go with some clean sounds. On the bridge position. Nice and warm and dreamy. We'll go to the neck position. So nice, it does real nice on the clean sounds. And we'll go ahead and put a little bit of dirt on here and see what it sounds like when it's overdriven. And I'll tell you how I've got it right now. I'm running through my Tim Wernig Electronics Robbie Calvo Soul Driver OD pedal right now into my Yamaha THR-10X, and just on a couple of basic settings, no editor, and running into my Behringer Euro port, and that's a ES500 MP3, and just the camera mic in the room. So So yeah, we'll go with the little neck pickup here. So yeah, sounds good dirty, sounds good clean. I'm liking it for the most part, big time. Now the one thing that was cool about changing up the strings, and it wasn't a daunting task, was that when you do take them out, basically all you're going to have to do is take 2 wrenches. They're typically the same as you would use for a Floyd Rose, and the big one would unlock the first set of these 3. And the small one would go to each one of these set screws that holds each one of the individual strings in place. But one tip is that when you do that, you'll want to make sure that all of your tuners are all the way loosened to where you have the most travel, the most play from the time that you pull your string in. And essentially you just lead your string in through the back there and through one of the tuner saddles, pull it up over the bridge saddle, pull it in through here, and once you do the set screw, there's an actual hole there that you lead your string through. I grabbed a set of needle nose pliers and pulled it as tight as I possibly could, and then locked down my set screw, and then just did the same thing to the rest of the strings, and then tightened the final 3 locks down before I even tuned the guitar up into pitch. I didn't have a single problem the first time that I changed these strings out. It was very simple, and it didn't seem like it took an exorbitant amount of time either. So kudos on that. Very cool design. Very cool indeed. Let me see, I might even have some... So guys, I'd have to give this guitar a solid thumbs up and recommendation for anyone who's looking to get into the headless market, because I can see the benefits, and I can see myself getting another one of these in the future. So kudos to Legator for making a very awesomely designed and beautiful looking, sounding, playing, feeling guitar. It's excellent. That's another thing, is like when you hit a note, you can feel it all the way into your body, all the way through your arm, all the way into your soul. I love that, when you can actually feel the notes vibrate from the wood into your body, and that's one thing that this thing does in spades. So anyway, guys, thank you so much for sticking around for this review, and hope to do some more. Got some new stuff coming in, and yeah, I hope you guys have a great night and a great weekend. Thank you so much for your time. I love everybody, and we'll see you on the next one. Thanks, guys. Bye.